removed prior to even any composting operation going in. But we do have a plan to deal with it in the meantime, which is you can lay it out on the ground and let it dry out.
Okay, but you're still going to have to dispose of it in some manner before this compost thing. Okay, yeah. So the question is, what are you going to do with it? You can dry it out, and then it's out there sitting on a tarp or something. Are we going to have to landfill it, and at what cost?
That is one option, is to landfill it, but preferably we want to keep things out of the landfill. So if the composting operation has been built, then that would be another place for it to go to.
Okay, but if the composting facility is not built, our only option, I believe, please tell me if I'm correct or not, is to landfill the sludge.
At this point, yes.
Okay. So, one of the concerns I have is I don't think we should be landfilling sludge. That's my personal thing. To me, it should be part of the composting process. The other thing is the pharmaceutical potential. A lot of people have raised concerns about the pharmaceutical potential, and so what I did is have my staff try to find some place in the country that's got the same size area, and we found Missoula County in Montana, and there we got hold of their samples, and the one that shows up the worst is caffeine. Caffeine actually shows up in the fluid portion. And
Excuse me, Ms. Ford?
Yeah, and my question is, are you dealing in this new contract with the pharmaceuticals?
No, it's not a component that is specifically mentioned.
Okay.
Ms. Ford,
yes.
Sorry. I'm going to ask for you to relinquish the floor. 5 minutes has gone by.
I'll relinquish.
Call on another council member.
I'd like another chance, though. Well, I'm actually a little reluctant to relinquish the floor because I have some more questions. I'm just afraid somebody will cut me off again. Thank you.
Mr. Kern.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think there are more questions to be asked. I think there's more to be figured out. I think bringing in the county workers again, we can have most of this discussion at one time and not fragment it. So with that, I move to postpone to February 20th.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Kern and seconded by Mr. Ilagan to postpone Resolution 3113 to February 20th. Discussion on the postponement.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Mr. Onishi.
Yes, I'll support that. Dora, I talked to UPW. They'll be calling you today. Thank you.
Any other discussion on the postponement? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford?
No.
Mr. Ilagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha?
Aye.
Mr. Kern?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi? Aye. Ms. Willie?
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Eoff?
Aye.
Chair Eoff, you have 7 ayes on the motion to postpone.
The Resolution 3113 is postponed to February 20th. Okay. Madam Clerk, could you please read Resolution 2113?
Resolution 2113 authorizes the acquisition of private property by eminent domain, tax map key 3 2-2-014-010:0057 portion, suite 229B, situated at Hilo Lagoon Center for the Department of Liquor Control Restoration Project. The Department of Liquor Control will be making improvements at its office located at the Hilo Lagoon Center, which will require the acquisition of additional space to meet Americans with Disabilities Act ADA requirements. The improvements will require the acquisition by the Department of current currently vacant property owned by Alvin M. Inouye, Sharon K. Shili, and Della E. Yamashiro, formerly known as Della E. Allison, identified as being a portion of Suite 229 located on the second floor or lobby level of the Hilo Lagoon Center adjacent to the current Department of Liquor Control conference room and containing an area of 909 square feet, referred to as Suite 229B, introduced by Ms. Poindexter, approved FC-11, and this is first of two required readings, Section 101-13 Hawaii Revised Statutes.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve Resolution 21?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Kern, second by Mr. Kanuha. Council members, we've received communication 28.1 from Joseph Kamelamela requesting that this item be withdrawn to allow the Department of Liquor Control to amend the maps. But because Ms. Poindexter, who is the introducer of this resolution, is not here today, I would like to entertain a motion to postpone Resolution 21 to the February 6th council meeting where Ms. Poindexter would be available to withdraw the...
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Kern, second by Ms. Willie. Oh, Mr. Onishi. Any discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, on the motion to postpone.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Ilagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha?
Aye.
Mr. Kern?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi? Ms. Willie? Mr. Yoshimoto? Chair Eoff?
Aye.
Chair Eoff, you have 8 ayes on the motion to postpone.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Onishi?
Yes, I have Mr. Barry Taniguchi and Mr. Kyle Kawano in Hilo that's representing American Heart. So if we could take Resolution 39-13 out of order, please. 39-13. The ADAs? Yes. That's from American Heart.
If no objection, Madam Clerk, please read Resolution 39-13.
Resolution 3913 authorizes the acceptance of 5 automated external defibrillators, AEDs, to the Department of Parks and Recreation. Donated by the American Heart Association, the AEDs will be placed at the following Department of Parks and Recreation facilities: Kamana Senior Center, Kea'au Community Center, Senior Center, Pahoa Senior Center, Waiakea Recreation Center, and Kulai Mano Park Community Center. The fire department shall provide training in the use of the AEDs. Introduced by Mr. Onishi, waived Finance Committee.
Motion to approve Resolution 39-13.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Kern, second by Mr. Onishi. Discussion?
Yeah, Madam Chair, could I get Mr. Taniguchi and Mr. Kawano to come forward, please? Well, are they for? Okay. Yeah, I want to thank American Heart for their donation for the 5 AEDs that's going to be going to 5 important recreational facilities, and at a lot of these at all 5 facilities we have our seniors that meet there at their senior clubs, and so and especially at Kamana Senior Center where there's a lot of activities that are going on. I mean, they have like hula, they have Tai Chi, they have all these activities, and so it's, I think, a proper place where one of these AEDs should be located. And so I want to thank the American Heart and also to Mr. Taniguchi and Mr. Kawano, working with the Parks and Recreation, working with the County of Hawaii in getting this for unneeded facilities. So you folks want to say a few words?
We're trying to point to each other. Actually, we had not prepared anything except that there's a group of guys in Hilo that work with the American Heart Association.
Excuse me, can you identify yourself for a record, please?
Okay, my name is Barry Taniguchi. I'm a committee member for the American Heart Association Golf Tournament Committee, and representing that committee and in making this presentation. The committee we hold annually golf tournament to raise funds for the benefit of the community in Hawaii, and with last year's funds we raised, we'd like to really put some AEDs out there in the community, particularly in areas where there's a high risk of heart incidents, and those would be the senior centers that we identified. And with that, we were able to acquire 5 AEDs to the specifications of the county. We asked the county what were their specifications, and fire department had graciously agreed to do the training on the use of these AEDs. They were strategically picked so that they would be in places where there would be a possible high incident of heart incidents. So with that, we'd like to make this presentation to the county.
Yeah, thank you. And also, I forgot not to mention that the fire department, we must really thank them, because to my understanding, they will be doing a training, for them how to use the AEDs, and also, if I'm not mistaken, they'll help with maintaining the AEDs. Is that correct, Mr. Taniguchi? Is there anybody from fire there that maybe might be able to help us with that?
Button? Okay. What it is these units have a warranty, so they'll be maintained for the first year or two under the warranty. After that, I think maintenance will be done, or try to be worked in with the regular equipment, the other AEDs that the county owns. So I don't know if the fire department actually does the maintenance of it, or there is a safety committee, I believe, in the county that do look at the maintenance of these equipments. So I think they would be looking after that, I guess, doing the inspections, etc.
Okay, thank you. And when you run your next golf tournament and you folks have some extra money again to purchase more AEDs, just give me a call. Thanks. Or I'll call you.
Will do.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Oh, Madam Clerk, on the motion to approve Resolution 39-13.
Ms. Ford?
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Lagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha?
Aye.
Mr. Kern?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi? Aye. Ms. Willie? Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Eoff?
Aye.
Chair Eoff, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Resolution 39 is approved. I've
Madam
been
Chair?
told that Howard Ainsley is in Hilo now.
Okay, and if we could also, too, I see Keiko Bonk has been hanging out here
Okay.
all day long. So if we could maybe after that take Bill 1 and 2 out of order.
Okay. If no objections, we'll do that. But I'm going to go to Hilo Howard Ainsley on Resolution 41. Madam Clerk, can you read that?
Resolution 4113 urges the legislature to appropriate funds through the Department of Health for the Hawaii Health Systems Corporation Primary Care Training Program. Urges the Hawaii State Legislature to appropriate $2,800,000 to the Department of Health for the fiscal year 2013 to 2014, and the same sum for the fiscal year 2014 to 2015 for the Hawaii Health Systems Corporation Primary Care Training Program. This is a statewide program administered by the Hilo Medical Center, introduced by Mr. Onishi, waived HSSSC.
Motion to approve Resolution 41-13.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Onishi, second by Mr. Kern. Mr.
Madam
Onishi?
Chair? Okay. First of all, can I wanted to do a floor amendment, and I wanted to amend communication 41-13 with the contents of 83.1. And in this amendment, it has all the corrections that was mentioned today about the money not going to the health department, but going to the program.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Onishi, second by Mr. Kern, to amend Resolution 41-13 with the contents of Communication 83.1.
Ms. Ford?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Before we take the vote, could we talk?
Okay, is there discussion?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Madam Clerk. First of all, I support this. I support what Mr. Onishi's amendment says, but he is amending the title of the bill to remove the Department of Health. I understand why. It's appropriate. I understand. But if Mr. Hendricks, I know it's a resolution, but I would like you to explain that to the council. So could you come down here and explain that, please? If this was a bill, we couldn't do this, okay? Because it's a resolution, we can. I want the council members to understand that.
Thank you, Mr. Hendricks.
I know that none of the new people would understand. Mr. Hendricks, please identify yourself and your position in the staff.
My name is John Hendricks. I'm a legislative specialist.
I can't hear you. Okay.
My name is John Hendricks. I'm a legislative specialist with the Legislative Research Branch, Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you. Would you explain to the new members of the council the difference between amending the title in a resolution versus being in a bill?
Well, barring any legal opinions or case law, it's just general practice that we're strongly discouraged from ever amending the title to a bill for a variety of reasons. However, as resolutions for the most part are non-binding, non-legislative acts, no such prohibition exists to do that to a resolution. Case may be different. If there was a resolution for condemnation, you might want to be more careful about something like that. But a resolution of this sort that is merely providing a message from the council as a body, there would be no harm in doing so.
Thank you. I will be supporting the amendment as well as the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Hendricks. I yield.
Thank you. Any other comments on the amendment? Oh, sorry, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Lagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha?
Aye.
Mr. Kern?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi? Ms. Willie? Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Eoff?
Aye.
Chair Eoff, you have 8 ayes.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on the resolution, or we can go to the vote?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Mr. Onishi.
We have Howard Ingsley over in Hilo, so maybe he might want to make a comment.
Thank you. Mr. Ainsley?
Or if there's any questions from our council members to him.
Very happy to respond to any questions that you might have about this. As I said earlier today, this is of critical importance to the state as we see our position, primarily our family practice primary care physicians reaching retirement age, and so we're wanting to come up with a plan to, again, get more physicians back into the state, and we think that once we train them, they will stay here. So that's our overarching goal. So again, I really appreciate all your support. We do have a fair amount of community support. We're trying to reach out to the other neighbor islands to help us with this endeavor to have it be seen as a priority for the state. And so we continue to do that.
Ms. Ford.
Thank you. Mr. Ainsley, have you seen the amendment that Mr. Onishi made? It's in front of you. I just want to make sure the name is correct, that you agree with the name on here so we have a chance if there's any other problem.
Yes, I have seen the title change. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I have seen the title change, and the title change does fit with what we would prefer to see. Thank you.
I yield.
Mr. Onishi.
Yes, and also at this time, I would like to suspend our rules to the holdover, and also for any reconsideration.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Onishi, second by Mr. Kern, to suspend council rules to be able to vote on this amended resolution today, and also not to hold it over.
Correct.
Okay.
And also reconsideration.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk.
On the motion to suspend, Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Ilagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha?
Aye.
Mr. Kern?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi?
Aye.
Ms. Willie? Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Eoff?
Aye.
Chair Eoff, you have 8 ayes.
Okay. On the main motion to approve Resolution 41-13 as amended, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Ilagan?
Aye.
Mr. Kanuha?
Aye.
Mr. Kern?
Aye.
Mr. Onishi? Aye. Ms. Willie? Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Eoff?
Aye.
Chair Eoff, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Resolution 41-13 is approved as amended. We're going to move on to